To do this, mapping is always a little bit more interesting with world indicators, I think, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and connect to world indicators, and this is the data set that's there. In order to build a map, you need to make sure that you have at least one field that's assigned a geographic role, which in this case is country region. And if we look at that, you can see the geographic role and that this is a country region geographic role. So any of these geographic roles for your data, as long as you go in and assign that to it, it will automatically generate latitude and longitude for you. So if it has that geographic role, anything in italics in your data set is something that's automatically generated by Tableau. So latitude and longitude for geographic roles, you'll see count of data, measure values, and then measure names is also always with most of the data sets in italics too. But for this case, we're going to focus on country region. So to build a map, it's not a hard process in Tableau. They've made it so easy for us. You can either drag it to the middle of your screen where it says show me will appear, and you can just drop the field there. I can do that. And this will create a map. Another way, if I hit the back arrow, is to take that geographic role and drag it onto detail. That will also work as well. And then you can also use show me. There's some options over here where you can create either a point, a symbol map, or a filled map too. So you can highlight the field and then click on show me to do that. So in this use case, there's something that's called a density map. So when people are talking about hotspot mapping, that's essentially what they mean. So you can click the drop down on your marks card, and then you can go to density. And when you do that, this automatically creates that density map for you. Now, you can change this a bit more, and you can go to color. Once you select a density map, you're going to have all kinds of options for the density maps that you can use. So we could, use any of these other ones. Maybe we want to try the orange and blue, the density multi map. This is one that's commonly used. And you can start to see just around here that this is latitude and longitude, and this is a count, but we really don't know quite what this is representing. So one thing that we could do is look at something like population for 0 to 14. So we can pull that onto color, and you start to see more of the density around these areas. The higher the density, the darker the colors are going to be here. And you can start to look at areas of the world that have higher populations of 0 to 14-year-olds. And that will do it. You can also play with size a little bit and decide which makes the most sense as you're doing this, and then play with this when you bring it into a dashboard as well. So this is an easy feature built into Tableau that you can use. You'll want to have, again, a dimension that's assigned a geographic role with country and region, and then some type of measure that you can pull onto color and then adjust size to be able to do that. There's also a really great article with Tableau about density mapping that goes into deeper detail. Let me see if I can creating heat maps with Tableau, and they get into some of the details of creating the density maps like we've done there too. We'll be sure to include that in our resources. So that's one great one as well to check out. So good luck with your mapping. And one piece that I do want to make sure that we talk about is it's very rare that we do a map that is also showing ranking and things. We tend to use maps to show location. So anytime we use maps at Boulder Insight, we're always going to pair it with some kind of horizontal bar chart, something that allows you to see the ranking more than just the map and the location that's there. So maps, sometimes a big mistake we see creators do in Tableau is that we see them trying to make the map do lots of things. Let the map show the location, show what you're trying to show there, but then use your horizontal bar charts and things to actually navigate with dashboard actions and show more information. So that's always a great trick as well. All right, so one of the things I just mentioned is that it's rare that we use a density map or any map as a standalone, that we like to pair that maps are great for showing location, but if you want to show ranking and things, bar charts are the best to do that. So let's go ahead and do that since I mentioned it. And let's go ahead and take this population 0 to 14 and our country region field. So same fields we were just looking at. And what we can do is then we can rank these by descending order. So I brought in that population 0 to 14 country region. So I'm just going to do a rank. I used to do work in Uganda, Africa, so I know this population from 0 to 14 is one of the highest in the world is in Uganda right now. And so we can click on the T to label it, and you can see it's very close to Niger, Afghanistan, Chad. And so you can start to see the rankings. So rankings much better to see in a bar chart. So now what we can do is we can do 0 to 14 population. And this one will be rank. So now that you have the two of those, you can see how much clearer this information can be. I'm going to go ahead and make this a PowerPoint size. That's what we typically do. I could put in one of our Tableau templates and things that we've talked about before, but for ease of this piece, I'm just going to drag and drop these two charts together in the same graph. And so we now have the rankings that we can see. We can even make this a little bit smaller, and you have your density map. So what we can do is we can click here, make this a filter, use this as a filter. And now we can say, let's look at where Uganda and that this is one of the hot spots. We can also say, let's look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe let's say, let's look at the top 5 areas that have the highest populations from 0 to 14. So you can start to highlight those and start to see where those have landed as well. So you can see Uganda, Chad, Niger, Afghanistan, and Timor-Leste. So all of these are showing now in the map. You can narrow those down and start to focus your analysis deeper into those areas. So just a cool trick to make sure that you don't make the map do too many things for your end users. Everyone can understand a map, but also give some power towards that as well. So good luck and get out there and go Tableau some minds with your new skills.